Hi everyone, welcome to XAT 2024, the QADI section, video solutions. I'm Amit Panchmatia and I'll be going through all the questions with you all, talking about how many questions you should have attempted. So for example, the cutoff for a general engineer male was approximately 9 to 10 questions, which I thought was not very difficult in this test to get that kind of cutoff because the amount of time which you have for XAT normally. XAT questions in QA are normally slightly longer to read and they don't remain as difficult as what XAT used to be, say, somewhere around 2011, 12, 13. XAT has kind of toned down a little bit. So I think you should be able to do those 9, 10 questions easily. Let's go through each question carefully. Let's have a look at the first question. Now, the first question, again, it's a long read, maybe hence most of you might want to skip it or would have skipped it in the test scenario. In a small college, students are allowed to take only one specialization. Traditionally, only two specializations are offered, science and arts. So initially, there were only two types of specialization, science and arts. Students enrolled to specialize in science must take physics and mathematics. So whoever wants to take science has to take physics and mathematics. While students enrolling who want to enroll in the arts specialization must take economics and political science. So they have to take economics and political science. Okay, that's okay. While students enroll in arts are not allowed. Okay, some students enrolled in science were not allowed to take economics or political science. So anybody who's over here in science is not allowed to take economics and not allowed to take political science also. While students who enroll in arts are not allowed to take physics and maths. Fair enough. So there were basically 4 subjects, 2 subjects for science specialization, 2 for arts, and the other 2 were not allowed for either of them. Okay. Recently, the college has started a third specialization called Math Eco. So one more specialization has come in called Math Eco that requires students to take economics and mathematics. So that means they have to take economics and maths. However, Math Eco students would not be allowed to take physics or political science. So they are not allowed to take physics and political science, both of these subjects. Fair enough. When the college opens this new specialization for enrollment, it allows students originally enrolled in science or arts to switch to Math Eco. So that means whoever had taken science or arts will now start switching over here to Math Eco. Some of them, whoever wants to switch. From among the students originally enrolled in arts, let's assume there were A students in arts and B students in science. Now, let's read this part very carefully. From among the students originally enrolled in arts, that is A, 20 students switch to Math Eco. Okay, 20 will go to Math Eco. This makes the number of science students twice the number of art students. So B will become double of A minus 20 because 20 students shifted. B became double of the art students. So B is A minus 20. That's my first equation. Let's leave it over there. This makes the number of science students twice the number of art students. That's okay. After this, from among the science. So after this, from the science, 45 students switched to Math Eco. So basically, science became B minus 45, which this makes the art students twice the number of science students. So A minus 20 became double of B minus 45. Obviously, you have two equations. Solving is very, very easy. So instead of I have A minus 20 over here also, I have A minus 20 over here also. So just let's replace A minus 20. So I'll get B is equal to 2 into this 2 into B minus 45. Solve it orally because of the lack of space. So B is 4B minus 180. 3B is 180 and B would come out to be 60. I'm just going to check that so I don't have not made an error. That's 4B comes on that side becomes minus 4B. B minus 4B is minus 3B is minus 180. So B is 60. That's right. B is 60 will give me how much? 30, 50. A will become 50. Right? Original students. Now let's read very carefully what have they asked. This makes the number of art students twice. In total, how many students from among the originally enrolled in science or arts are now taking economics? Now, that means how many who were originally enrolled are now still taking economics. Now, understand everybody who went from arts don't even matter because they were taking economics earlier also and they're taking economics now also. So, can I say these 50 are definitely taking economics towards the end? So, let's not worry about them at all. So let's not worry about how many shifted from arts. Just worry of how many shifted from science. From science, I know 45 shifted over here. So these 45 will now start taking economics. They were not taking earlier. So 50 who were in arts earlier, whether they shifted or not shifted, they still take economics. And hence the other 45 who shifted from science will also take economics, and hence the number of students who will take economics becomes 95, which is the fourth option. I would put this as a straightforward question, except the long reading. Please understand, it was a lengthy sum to read. People just had to be careful. They had to tell themselves, okay, 3-4 minutes, if I read this sum carefully, I should be able to easily get this question. That's how you have to look at this question. Let's have a look at the next question. In a school, the number of students in each class from class 1 to 10th in that order are in AP. So there is a standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. They are all in arithmetic progression. The total number of students from class 1 to 5, okay, 1 to 5 is twice the number of students from class 6 to 10. So since all of them are in AP, okay, if I take this as A plus D, A plus 2D, A plus 3D and so on till this is A plus 9D, right? What have they said the first thing? The students from class 1 to 5 is twice of 6 to 10. That means what will be the total of 1 to 5? 5 times of this number. The middle number is always the arithmetic mean. So 5 times of that will become 5 times A plus 2D is double 5 times of this number, which is A plus 7D is 5 times A plus 7D. Twice is correct, right? Yeah, twice is also correct. 5 times A plus 7D. 5 will cut out easily. So I'm left with A plus 2D is 2A plus 14D, and I've got negative A is equal to 12D, or 12D is minus A. Leave it as it is. Okay, let's continue. If the total number of students from class 1 to 4 is 462, you can easily add 1 to 4. That will give me 4A, 3 plus 2, 5 plus 1, 6D is 462, right? So you can divide it further if you want. You can add 2A plus 3D is 231. In short, you have two equations. You should be able to easily solve them after that. What have they asked for? They've asked for class 6. Okay, let's substitute and find at least one of the things. Negative A is 12D. So instead of A, I can write negative 12D. So 2 into minus 12D plus 3D is 231. 2 into negative will be negative 24D. Negative 24 plus 3 will be negative 21D is equal to 231. 21 ones is 21, again 21 ones are, so 11 times. So D comes out to be minus 11. Now we've got D as negative 11. If we want, we can find A also. That's not very difficult. What have they asked for? They've asked for the class 6. Class 6 will be A plus 5D. Now I already know A is negative 12D. A is negative 12D. So I'll write, there's no need to find the value of A. So it is negative 12D plus 5D, which is negative 7D. D is negative 11, so negative 7D will become 77, which is again your fourth option. Straightforward question from APGP, nothing very difficult, no maxima minima, just take a standard approach of APGP. You should have got this question. Let's have a look at the next question. The next question is from time, speed, distance, a slightly longish question, but again not very difficult, nothing which you haven't done before. A flight traveling 11,200 kilometers, that means total distance is 11,200 kilometers, was supposed to take off at 6:30 a.m. Due to bad weather, the departure of the flight got delayed by 3 hours, which means instead of 6:30, it took off at 9:30 a.m. The pilot increased the average speed of the aeroplane by 100 kilometers per hour from the initially planned average time to reduce the delay by 1 hour. To reduce the delay by 1 hour. So the delay was going to be 3 hours, he reduced the delay by 2 hours. So the delay was still there of 2 hours, which means he still actually was late by 2 hours. He has increased his speed. So in short, he took 2 hours less, right? So let's assume the original speed is S, original time taken is T. So S multiplied by T is 11,200, that I already know. Distance is speed into time. I prefer taking two variables, it's always easier. Okay, speed was increased by 100, which means speed became S plus 100 and time became T minus 2. Speed will go up, so time will have to come down for the same distance, 11,200, right? So open the bracket up, ST minus 2S plus 100T minus 200 is 11,200. ST is also 11,200, so these two will cut out. So I've got negative 2S plus 100T is equal to 200. Divide by 2, that gives me negative X plus, or negative X is equal to 100 minus 50T. Dividing everything by 2. Write it as S is equal to 50T minus 100. Just put it in this equation. So we've got one quadratic equation. If I put S as 50T minus 100, so let's take 50 common. So T minus 2 into T is 11,200. 1 0 cut. 5 1s are, 5 2s are, 5 2s are, and 5 4s are. So T multiplied by T minus 2 is 224. Don't start solving a quadratic equation. Just think of two numbers whose difference is 224. Which is the closest perfect square to 224? 225. 225 is 15 square. So this has to be 14 16s. There's no way any other number will fit. You can check very easily. 14 16s will be the answer. Which means this will be 16 and this will be 14. So T is 16 in short. Whichever way you do it, you get T as 16. So initial time taken was going to be 16 hours. You can find the initial speed also, which will be easy now to do. So that will be 16S was 11,200. 16 7s should be 112, right? 16 7s is 112. So S is 700. So the initial speed was 700. Let's read the question actually fully. Had the pilot increased the speed by 350 from the initial planned average speed, then what would be the flight, what time would it reach? So instead of a speed of 700, if he increases by 350, which means in short, he makes it 1050. Or if you are really smart, look at a slightly better approach. Whatever was the speed, he has made the speed 1.5 times. He has made the speed 1.5 times. That means the speed has become 3 by 2, right? So the time taken, right? It's not a very great shortcut that you have to do this. You could have done 11,200 divided by 1050. You would have got the same answer. But time would be 2 by 3 of 16 hours. That is 32 by 3 hours. That is 10 2/3 of an hour. 10 2/3. 10 hours and 40 minutes. So that is 10 hours 40 minutes. After 9:30, remember that. 9 plus 10 is 19. 19 plus 70 more minutes. That is 2010. It will reach, time taken to reach, time at which it will reach will be 20 hours 10 minutes. 20 is what? 8 p.m. 20 is 8 p.m. 8:10, which is the fourth option. So pretty interesting question, slightly long question. I thought of a lot of approaches and could not find a better shortcut. I think this is a pretty decent approach over here. Let's have a look at the next question. A question from logs. Doesn't look very difficult. Consider the equation log x minus 2 to the base 5 is equal to 2 log 2x minus 4 to the base 25, where x is a real number. For how many different values of x does the equation hold? So applying basic property of logs, log a to the base b is log a upon log b. The 2 remains as it is. This will become log 2x minus 4 upon log 25. Log 25 can be written as log 5 square, which is anyway 2 log 5. So this will again become 2 log 5. 2 will cut on both sides. Log 5 will cut on both sides. Get rid of the logs, we'll get x minus 2 is equal to 2x minus 4. which is actually the same thing, x minus 2, x minus 2. If I start cutting, I'll get 0 is equal to 2, which is not possible. Therefore, the only value which it will satisfy will be at x is equal to 2, because x minus 2 cannot be 0, and that is why we can't cut. So, x is equal to 2 is the only value. But the problem is, if I take x is equal to 2 over here, this will become log 0 to the base 5, which is not true. Log 0 is not defined, and hence there is not a single real value for which it will be defined. Answer is 0. A big trap. Lot of y'all would have marked the second option, and that would be one negative for you over here. Let's have a look at the next question. A very, very straightforward question. Nothing much, basic equation or not equation, some percentages and all that. Because cost of running a movie theater is rupees 10,000 per day. Okay, and plus additional rupees 5,000 per show. The theater has 200 seats. A new movie released on Friday. There were 3 shows. So let's call it show 1, show 2 and show 3. Where the ticket price was 250 for the first 2 shows. So 250, 250, and for the last show it was 200 rupees. For all shows together, total occupancy was 80%. Now this was very important. For all shows together, the occupancy was 80%. What was the maximum profit? So if I want to maximize my profit, I will have to assume that the first 2 shows sold more tickets. See, total tickets which could have been sold that day were 200, 200, 200, 600 tickets could have been sold. Total occupancy was 80%. So 80% of 600 is 480. So in short, maximum or exact number of tickets sold were 480. Now I can assume that all tickets sold on the first and the second shows got sold off. Still only 400 tickets are sold, and 80 tickets from the last show. Why? Because the last show is the cheaper tickets. If I want to maximize my profit, I'll have to sell more tickets from the first and the second show. So that's 400 tickets of 250 rupees each will give me 1 lakh, or 500 plus 500 is 1 lakh over here. Plus another 16,000 from the late night show. So the total selling price of the ticket is 1,16,000. Now let's find the cost. 10,000 is the fixed cost, plus 5,000 per show, which means 5,000 for all 3 shows, whether the show is full or empty. Same amount of money will go. So 3 into 5,000, which is 15,000. So total of 25,000 is being spent. So out of 1,16,000, if I'm spending 25,000, what are we left with? That will be 91,000, which is the fourth option. So answer is 91,000, 1,16,000 minus 25,000, 91,000. So according to me, one of the easier questions of this XAT paper. Let's have a look at the next question. FS food stall sells only chicken biryani. If FS fixes a selling price of rupees 160 per plate, so 160 rupees is the selling price per plate, 300 plates of biryani gets sold. For each increase of price rupees 10 per plate, 10 fewer plates get sold. Similarly, for each decrease in the selling price by 10, 10 more plates get sold. That means if I decrease the price by 10, I'll sell 10 more items. If I increase the price by 10, I'll sell 10 less items, and so on. FS incurs a cost of rupees 120 per plate of biryani. So cost price per plate is 120, and has decided the selling price will never be less than the cost price. That means his lowest selling price can be 120. We'll come to that also. Moreover, due to capacity constraint, more than 400 plates cannot be produced in a day. Okay. So on the upper side, he can sell 400 plates. That also I'll come to. If the selling price on any given day is the same for all the plates and only multiples of 10 weight can be sold, then what is the maximum profit that can be achieved? Now, this is an algebra question of maxima minima. But let's just try and understand how should a normal student who does not understand maxima minima should have done this question in a test scenario in the maximum 3 to 4 minutes. Now, let's take the standard price which we had told us. At 160, he is making a profit of 40. And at that time, he's selling 300 plates, which means he'll make 3 fours are 12,000 rupees. Obviously, none of the options are even close by, so I will obviously try more. Now, let's assume he's increasing the price first. We'll also talk about decreasing the price. He's increasing the price by 10, because of which his number of items sold are also going down by 10. If he increases the price by 10, he will go to 50 and he can then sell 290 items. 29 FISA is not a very difficult calculation, 145. If he makes this 60, this is 280. 28 6 again 2 zeros are there. What will you get? 6 8s are 48, 4, 16800. So I can see that a lot of options are much higher. So I thought, let me skip a couple of values. 70, 80, 90 I decided to skip. I went to 100. So increase by 40. So this also will decrease by 40. And this became 240. So I can see that I can reach 24,000 though, definitely. Now let's take one more step. At 110, this will become 230, which will be 25300, which is there as one of the options. But don't rush. Next profit he can make is 120. At 220, which will give me what? 2 zeros, 12 twos are 24, 2 carry 24, 26 400. So this is not my answer. And this is also not then the option, yeah, but none of the options is correct is there, so that's okay. 130 into 230 is 0, 0. 13 threes are 39, 3, 26, 26 threes are 29. Okay, let me just check. This should have become 210. My bad. 13 ones are 13, that is 1 carry, 26, 27. So 270, 100. 140 into 200 is 28,000. 150 into 190. 15 19s are 15 20s are 300. So this is 28500. 160 into 180, that should be 28800. 170 into 170 is 28900, which is there in the option. What happens at the next step is very important, pay attention. 180 into 160 again becomes 2800. So I come to know from this point, again my value will keep going down. You can check one more thing. 190 into 150, you'll get the same set of values. You'll keep getting the same set of values, which means more or less this is the highest. Yes, this is not a foolproof method, but in the next 2 to 3 minutes, you're able to do this question. This was one approach which a lot of y'all could have done. Not the greatest approach. Let's look at the best approach for this question. The best approach for this question is that the profit is 40 per plate. If I increase the profit by 10x, my number of products sold is also going to reduce by 10x. So hence the number of products reduced will become 300 minus 10x. And this is the equation which I have for profit. Simple. Where did I get this 40? This was when it was selling for 160, the profit was 40. So 40 plus 10x into 300 minus 10x is profit. Now, you can actually expand this, get a quadratic, do the maximum by minus b by 2a, but there's also a shortcut to this. Whenever you've broken this up into two such things, you can equate them both because they are both product, the sum is constant. Plus 10x and minus 10x comes out to be 0. Sum is constant, very, very important. And therefore, you can equate these two. 40 plus 10x is equal to 300 minus 10x. 20x is equal to 260. X is equal to 13. That means the best profit will happen at 40 plus 130, 170, at which this will also be 170, and the profit will be 28900. Anybody who knew this approach obviously had to do this approach, but otherwise the other approach also can give you 1 mark in 3 to 4 minutes, which is definitely worth it in XAT. Let's have a look at the next question. The next question involves some amount of geometry. A farmer has a triangular plot. So I've got a triangle over there. One side of the plot, henceforth called the base, is 300 feet long. So the base will be 300 feet long and the other two sides are equal. That's also given to us. The perpendicular distance from the corner of the plot where the two equal sides meet, that is, say this is point A, from A, okay, to the base is 200 feet. That means this height is given as 200. Since it's in an isosceles triangle, the perpendicular will also bisect the base. So 150, 150. Basic usage of Pythagoras. Multiples of 3, 4, 5. This is a 150 is a multiple of 3, 4, 200 is a multiple of 4. So this will come out to be 250. You can solve and get 250 or directly it is 250. Whichever way, whether you want to use Pythagoras, whether you can understand from triplet, getting that 250 is important. To counter the adverse effect of climate change, the farmer wanted to dig a circular pond. He plans that half of the circular area will be inside the triangular plot and the other half will be outside, which he will purchase at the market rate from his neighbor. So basically he is going to make a full circular pond, half of which is inside his triangle and the half outside, okay, and which he has to purchase from the neighbor. The diameter of the circular plot is entirely contained in the base and the circumference of the pot touches the two equal sides. Touches, very, very, very important, and getting the diagram was very important. So the diagram will be something like this. The diameter gets contained in the base. So if the diameter is PQ, it gets contained inside BC. Let this point be D, okay. So in short, what have we got? If the market rate, what do you want to find? The market rate per square feet of land is 1400. How much does the farmer have to pay his neighbor to buy the land? So basically I need the radius so I can find the area of the semicircle which he has to purchase from the neighbor. So I just need to get my radius in place. If I drop a perpendicular from D, let's call it DM. If this is DM, that is my radius which I need to find. What is that? That is nothing but the height of a right angle triangle. If I look at triangle ADC, DM is nothing but the height of the right angle triangle, which means half into 200 into 150, which is the area of triangle ADC, is also equal to half into AC, which is 250, into DM, which is small r. Half cut, 50 5s, 50 3s, 5 1s, 5 40s. So DM comes out to be 120, that is my radius is equal to 120. Once I got radius, area of semicircle and the cost. So area multiplied by cost will be half pi r square multiplied by 1400. So half into 22 upon 7 into 120 into 120 into 1400. 7 to is 14, 1400s. So I definitely am going to get 4 zeros. 12 into 12 is 144, 144 into 22. 144 into 22. 22 4s is 88, 8 carry. 88 plus 8 is 96, 9 carry. 3168. So the cost will be 3168 followed by 4 zeros, which is the first option. So if you got the diagram correct, which was the important part of this question, the question was not very difficult, you know. Yes, maybe the diagram, getting the diagram right, getting that circle right was not very easy, but again, not a very difficult question, something which is like a level C or something. I do not find that in this question. Let's have a look at the next question. The next question is a question from data sufficiency. Always an area which is, you know, slightly difficult for students to crack. So be very careful when you're doing DS. A group of boys is practicing football in a rectangular ground. Raju and Ratan are standing at two opposite midpoints of the two shorter sides. Raju has the ball, who passes it to Rivu, who's standing somewhere as on one of the longer sides. Rivu holds the ball for 3 seconds and then passes it to Ratan. Ratan holds the ball for 2 seconds and passes it back to Raju. The path of the ball from Raju to Rivu makes angle with the path of the ball from Rivu to Ratan at 90 degrees. So right angle is important over here. The speed of the ball whenever passes 10 meters per second and the ball always moves on straight lines along the ground. Let's try and get this much. This is the longer side, shorter side. Initially Raju, Ratan, Rivu somewhere over here. It's not exactly 90 degrees, but let's assume this is where 90 degrees is formed over there. My diagram is not exactly portraying 90 degrees, that's okay. Okay, so this is the initial. The speed of the ball is 10 meter per second. So consider the problem computing how many seconds does it take for Raju to get the ball back. So basically we need to know the total time. We already know for how long do they hold the ball. So all that is unimportant. I need to understand, can I find this distance and this distance and this distance? Because that is where the ball is traveling. The holding time has been told. I don't even have to find it. I just want to know whether can I find it. Okay, using the information. We have to use both the information separately. Let's use the first information. The dimensions of the ground is 80 by 50. If I'm using this one, that means Z will become 80 and the height, the other side will be 50, which means the height for this triangle will be 25. Now, in a right angle triangle, if I draw perpendicular, I know I can use similarity. Lot of different approaches. I can take this as A and this as 80 minus A. And I will be able to get, so I'll get 25 square is A into 80 minus A, and I'll be able to get A. If I get A, I can get X using Pythagoras theorem. If I get A, I'll get 80 minus A and I'll get Y also. So in short, looking at the first statement, I'm going to be able to get X, Y and Z all three, right? Z is directly 80, X and Y, I'm not going to solve, but I can get, that is the important part. I don't have to solve. That's the best part about data sufficiency. So is statement 1 enough to get the answer? Yes, looks like statement 1 is enough to get the answer. So using statement 1, everything looks okay. There's no problem over here. So 1 alone is sufficient. That can be my answer. 2 alone is sufficient. Cannot be my answer. Either one of it, 2 by itself is sufficient to solve the problem. Can be my answer. The problem cannot be solved with both. This is not the, I'm already solving with 1. Both are required to solve the problem is also not my answer. So either my answer can be 1 or 3. Let's just erase everything else. My answer can be 1 or 3 as I had said. The second statement is the area of the triangle formed by Raju, Rivu and Ratan is 1000. That means the area of this triangle is 1000. That means if I drop a height over here, this is height, this is Z as it is. So half into Z into H is 1000. So Z into H is 2000. Lot of people are going to say, oh yes, 80 and 25. 25 into 80 is 2000. But understand, lot of different values are also possible. Nowhere have they said decimals are not possible. A lot of other things are possible. I can take the Z into H is 2000, right? I can take 210 or something like that, or 20 and 100. So many different values, 120, so many different values are possible. So hence, this alone, with every value of Z and H, different value of Z and H, I'll get different values for X and Y. So by this, I am not able to find X, Y and Z. And hence, according to me, statement 2 alone is not sufficient, which means the answer will be the first option. Data sufficiency always is slightly tricky. Whenever you decide to do data sufficiency, be sure that you are 100% sure only and then solve it. Let's have a look at the next question. Looks like a pretty straightforward question from HCF LCM. The LCM of a number and 990, that means 990 and some other number, n let's call it. The LCM of these numbers is 6930. Now, if the LCM is 6930, let's take factors of 6930. Let's divide 6930 by 990. What will I get? 99 sevens are. So, I definitely need n to have a 7 in it. Now, n can be 7, n can be 14, n can itself be 6930, lot of options are there. But n definitely has to have a 7. N has to have a 7 in it, right? And 1 7 only. If it has more than 1 7, the LCM will go more than 6930 because 6930 has only 1 7. The greatest, okay, and the greatest common divisor of the number and 550, that means n with 550, the HCF is 110. That means n does not have a 5, means n has maximum 110. So n definitely has 110. Yeah, n can be 550 also. 550 and 550 no, 550 and 550 ka HCF would become 550. So n can be 110. Can it be more than 110? I don't think so. Maybe like a 220. Yes, it can be 220, 330 or something like that. But n has to have 110 in it. Now, what is the sum of the digits of the least possible value of n? So, the least possible value of n will be 770. As I said, it can be more than that also, but the least possible value of n will be 770, and sum of all digits will be therefore become 7 plus 7 plus 0, which is 14, which is the third option. Decent question, not very easy, maybe level B, level C for some of y'all also. Let's have a look at the next question. The next question says the roots of the polynomial. We know this will have three roots. Are the radii of three concentric circles? What are the ratio of the areas? Now, how would I look at this sum in the test scenario? And I'm telling myself 2.5, 3 minutes, I have to be able to do it because the numbers are not very big. 6 is like 1, 2, 3, or 6 divided by 2 is 3, which means the roots are going to be very small. I'm going to just try with 1, 2 and see whether it satisfies. So I put x as 1 and I check whether it is satisfying or not. What is the remainder? So that's 2 minus 11 plus 17 minus 6. Negative 17. Yeah, this remainder is 2. So 1 is not a factor. I am checking with 2. 2, so that will be 8 2s are 16. 16 minus 11 4s are 44 plus 17 to the 34 minus 6. 34 plus 16 is 50. This is also 50. Remainder is 0. So x minus 2 is a factor, which means 2 is one of the roots. 2 is definitely one of the roots. That means after this, I have two different approaches that I will show. So I have got alpha is 2. I still need to find beta and gamma. Now, what is alpha plus beta plus gamma? Sum of the roots minus b by a. So 2 plus beta plus gamma is negative b by a. That will become 11 by 2. So beta plus gamma is 11 by 2 minus 2. That's 7 by 2. So I need two numbers whose sum is 7 by 2. So fractions are possible. And beta into gamma. Alpha into beta into gamma is negative d by a. That will be 6 by 2, which is 3. So beta into gamma is 3 by 2. You can make a quadratic, or you can look at small numbers and look at it and say, doesn't look very difficult. So I need two numbers whose sum is 7 by 2, that is 3.5, and product is 1.5. So if you think a little bit also, just think of the numbers a little bit, it comes out to be pretty easily. It's 3.5. 3 plus half is 7 by 2, and 3 multiplied by half is 3 by 2. So we've got our three roots as 2, 3.5, or the way they've given it's 3, 2.5. Multiply by 2 to make everything a whole number. So become 9, 4 and 1. 6, 4 and 1. 6, 4 and 1 are the three roots or three radiuses which we have. And therefore the areas will be in the form of 36, 16 and 1, which will be the fourth option. So again, you have to tell yourself that I understand this polynomial wala property, after which getting the root should not be very difficult. 36, 16, 1 is the answer, which is the fourth option. Let's have a look at the next question. A local restaurant has 16 vegetarian items. So total number of items of vegetarian are 16 and non-veg items are 9. Some items contain gluten while the rest are gluten-free. That means within veg and non-veg there will be gluten as well as non-gluten items. One evening, Rohit and his friends went to the restaurant. They planned to choose two different vegetarian items. So Rohit and his friend, what all did they choose? They chose two vegetarian items and three different non-veg items from the entire menu. So in veg they chose 2 and in non-veg they chose 3. That is what Rohit and his friends did. Later Bela and her friends went. So let's put Bela over here. Bela and her friends went, and they also went to the same restaurant. They planned to choose two items went to the same restaurant. They plan to choose 2 different vegetarian items and only 1 non-veg item, but only from the gluten-free options. Very important. So, they chose 2 vegetarian items. So, veg they chose 2, non-veg they chose 1, but all of them were only gluten-free. I don't know how many gluten-free items were there, and I think that's what I want to find. The number of item combinations, so it's a permutation combination question, that Rohit and his friends could choose from, their plan was 12 times the number of items that Bela and her friends could choose. So, the number of choices Rohit and the friends had was 12 times the number of choices Bela and the friends had. Now, since I don't know how many gluten items were there in veg and gluten items were there in non-veg, I'm going to just assume that is x and y. So, in veg, let us assume gluten was x and non-veg gluten was y, which means if I look at the non-gluten items, it would become 16 minus x and 9 minus y. But I don't think so, I'll need that. Now, let's get the combinations for Rohit. Rohit and his friends decided to order 2 out of 16. They did not bother about gluten or non-gluten. So, it became 16C2 choices, and non-veg they ordered 3 out of 9. So, that became 9C3 choices, which is 12 times of the choices Bela and the friends had. Bela and the friends had x choices, out of which they had to choose 2. So, that became xC2. And from y they had to choose 1, that is yC1. Let's solve this. Obviously, there are 2 variables and 1 equation, so I will not get everything. Let's think a little bit. 16C2 is 16 into 15 upon 2. 9C3 is 9 into 8 into 7 upon 3 factorial, which is 6, which is 12 into xC2 is x into x minus 1 upon 2, and yC1 is y. So, let's see what do I get. I get a 2 8s are cutting out over here, 6 12s are 72 cuts out over here, 12 cuts out. So, what are we left with? I am left with 8, 15 and 7. So, on the left side I am left with 8, 15 and 7, the 2 will go up. So, I am left with 8, 15, 7 and 2, which is x into x minus 1 into y. Now, very important. I need these 2 numbers to be consecutive. When I am just looking at it, I can think of one case to be 16, 15 and then y could be 7. Is this a possible case? Can all the veg items be gluten free? Nowhere at the said that's not possible. So, x can be 16. So, one case which I am thinking is x is 16 and y is 7. What have they asked for? How many menu contain gluten? By the way, these were non-gluten free items or gluten free items, not non-gluten free, gluten free items. Because Bela and the friends chose only from gluten free items. So, in that case, how many items contain gluten? In veg, nothing. And in non-veg, 2. So, the answer would be 0 plus 2, in that case 2. In an exam situation, because there was no cannot be determined, most probably I would have marked this and gone ahead. But now since I am explaining to you, I have just to explain that there can be one more possible case. This could also be 15 into 14 into 8. Now, the lucky part was, if this was 15, that means in veg there is 1 gluten item, and in non-veg also 9 minus 8 there is only 1 gluten item, and still the number of gluten item contains 2, which contain gluten is 2. Hence, either way you do it, the answer is the second option. Definitely a level C question. In an exam situation, you should have left it alone. Let's have a look at the next question. The next question is a question from linear equations. Consider a system of 2 linear equations as follows, where P, Q, R are real numbers. Okay, so we've got both in the same format. Which of the following statements definitely contradicts the fact that the line represented by the 2 equations are coinciding? First of all, what is the conditions for the line to coincide? The condition is that A1 upon A2 has to be equal to B1 upon B2 has to be equal to C1 upon C2. That's a direct concept first. You have to understand the concept. So, A1 upon A2 has to be equal to B1 upon B2 has to be equal to C1 upon C2. Based on this, what will we get over here? So, we will get 3 upon Q has to be 21 upon R has to be P upon minus 7. Right? That is what we need to understand. So, first thing, let's understand that based on the value of the sign of P, we will understand what are the possible cases we can get. Now, so if P is negative, suppose if I start with if P is negative, what will happen if P is negative? P upon minus 7 will become positive because minus 7 is there, so negative upon negative will become positive. If P upon minus 7 becomes positive, then over here Q and R both will have to be positive. Q and R will have to be positive. Okay. But what happens if P is positive? If P is positive, that means this thing which I have just circled over here will be negative. Then Q and R both will have to be negative. Now, these are the conditions we have. Based on that, let's go to the options and try and break down the options and see which is not the answer. So, which of it following definitely contradicts? P and Q must have opposite signs. But that is true. P and Q must have opposite signs. We have clearly written if P is negative, Q will have to be positive. And if P is positive, Q will have to be negative. So, that is not contradicting in fact, right? So, that is not my answer. The smallest among P, Q, R is R. So, is R always the smallest? Let's think a little bit. In fact, if P is negative, R is positive. So, P will become smaller. So, this is also not definitely means it can be or cannot be the answer. We will come to that discussion. See, the smallest is R, but there are cases when I am getting that the smallest is not R. So, therefore, this is also not my answer. Okay, because I can get smallest is R and I can get R is not the smallest also. The largest is Q. Will Q always be the largest? Let's think over here. Now, I also have to compare Q with R, not only with P. Okay. If P is positive, Q is negative. So, over here, Q is not the largest. So, statement 2 mein Q is definitely not the largest. But what about this case? Will it be definitely true over here also that Q and R will have to be positive? Now, if Q and R both are positive, just let's look at this part. What will we get? This, if I cut this 3 ones are 3 sevens are. What do I get? R is 7 times Q. If I cross multiply this, I get R is 7 times Q. That means if both are positive, R is definitely larger. So, in fact, Q is not larger ever. If P is positive, P is the largest. If P is negative, R is the largest. So, Q being the largest definitely contradicts. So, that should be my answer. You know, R and Q must have same signs is also definitely true. We want that to happen. Hence, that is not my answer. P cannot be 0. If P was 0, what will happen? This whole, both of them cannot become 0 and hence that is also not my answer. So, the only option is the third one. And that is why this was a slightly tricky one. People are not going to be able to think of it on your feet that time. I would have skipped this question in an exam situation. Let's have a look at the next question. Consider a 4-digit number in the form of A with a triple B. Okay. Which of the following condition is both necessary and sufficient? Not only necessary, but necessary and sufficient to ensure that a 4-digit number is divisible by A. Now, just thinking aloud, the number could be whatever if it was to be divisible by A. If A was say 2, then a 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 or 2, 8, 8, 8, 2, 4, 4, 4 is possible. But let's just write it the way it is told and let's have a look at the option. B is divisible by A. That means if A was 3 and B was 9 or B was 6, obviously the whole number would be divisible. That's a sufficient condition, but is that a necessary condition? Not necessarily. B is equal to 0 will also suffice. So, 1 and 2 both are sufficient but not necessary. 21B is divisible by, and this is what got me thinking a little bit. Let me just write this number in the normal form. A is in the thousands place, so this will be 1000A plus 100B plus 10B plus 1B, which makes it 1000A plus 111B. 1000A is always divisible by 1000. 111B had to be divisible by A. I can write 111B as 37 into 3B. Now, There's no 37 in the option, but there's a 3b in the option. That 3b, if divisible by a, that will be a necessary condition, whatever you take b as. But 3b, if divisible by a, then that would suffice, and hence the answer over this question will be the fifth. It's a slightly difficult thing to understand in an exam situation under the pressure, but again, not a very difficult question overall as such. Let's have a look at the next question. A pretty interesting question from geometry. Consider a right angle triangle ABC right angled at B. So there's a 90-degree over here. Two circles each of radius r are drawn inside the triangle in such a way that one first circle touches AB and BC, the second circle touches AC and BC. Two circles also touch each other. AB is given 18, BC is given 24. Find the value of r, that is the radius of the two circles. Now, there are a couple of different approaches you could have done for this question. The first one is, before even I start anything, this is 18, this is 24. So this will become 30. I hope you don't waste your time calculating this. This is 3 square, 3 6 are 18. This is 4 6 are 24. So there have to be 5 6 are 30. It's a 3 4 5 ka multiple. Now, based on that, if I continue, if I join the two radiuses, two circle ka centers over here, this will be r, this will be r, and this will also be r. Right? Drop these perpendiculars also. So this will also be r and this will also be r. Now, if you notice this small part will become a square because three angles are 90. So fourth angle is 90 and adjacent sides are equal. So this will also become r and r. Right? Now, if I take this point as P, how much is AP? AP will be 18 minus r. AP will be 18 minus r. I will take this point as Q and this as O and join these two. This will also become r. This angle is also 90 over here, no problem over there. So, what is FC? FC will become 24 minus 3r because this is 2r and r. So, FC is 24 minus 3r. So, CQ will also be 24 minus 3r. And therefore, AQ will become 30 minus 24 minus 3r. That will be 3r plus 6. So, AQ is 3r plus 6. Now, if you look very carefully, we have two right angle triangles with hypotenuse AO. One is triangle AOP and the other is triangle AOQ. So, I will take Pythagoras 2 times. AO square is AP square plus PO square. So, AP square plus PO square, which is equal to AO square, is also equal to AQ square plus AO square. AP I know is 18 minus r. So, this will become 18 minus r the whole square. PO I know is 3r. So, 3r the whole square is 9r square. Is AQ square, which I know is 3r plus 6 the whole square, plus AO square is r square. Let's solve this. This is 324 minus 36r plus r square plus 9r square is 9r square plus 36r. Yeah, 6 is 18 or 36 plus 36 plus r square. 10r square cut on both sides. So, I am left with 324 minus 36 is 36r plus 36. That is 288 is 72r and therefore r becomes 4, which is the second option, which is one of the approaches to do this question. There were a couple of approaches. One more approach which I had thought of was this. Let's look at a completely new approach. I'm just getting the construction right for you. We've drawn a DE this time. DE will be perpendicular, pass through the, it will become a tangent for both the circles and be perpendicular to BC. Now, if you look very carefully, triangle DEC is a right angle triangle which is obviously going to be similar to the original triangle ABC. Now, original triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEC. So can I say sides of triangle DEC will also be in the ratio 3:4:5? Sides of triangle DEC will be in the ratio 3:4:5, where DE will be 3x, EC will be 4x, and DC will be 5x. And if I take this as O, OF is the in radius for this triangle. OF is the in radius of this triangle. So what will I get? Pay attention very carefully now. Now, what is the in radius of a right angle triangle? A plus B minus C upon 2. So the in radius of a right angle triangle is A plus B minus C upon 2, which will be 7 minus 5, 2x upon 2, which is again x. So I have got the in radius of this triangle. This circle becomes the in radius for triangle DEC. So this will also become x. So this is also x. This will become 2x. So DE is 3x. Now, as we had done earlier, all those things, now instead of r, everything will become x. So FC will become 24 minus 3x, whatever this point you want to call it, Q or whatever, that is also 24 minus 3x. Now, what have we got further? If you notice further, this is also x, and this we knew was 18 minus x. So therefore, this AQ is also 18 minus x. No, that is what the mistake I told you a lot of people will make. AQ will not be 18 minus x, right? Because those are two different circles. Pay attention very carefully. Because this is 2x, this will also be 2x, right? And this is x over here. So x plus 24 minus 2x is 24 minus 3x will be 24 minus 2x. So this side is 24 minus 2x. This side is 3x. They have to be in the ratio 4:3 because that's what we had said initially, right? 24 minus 2x and 3x had to be in the ratio 4:3. 3 cuts out. So we've got 24 minus 2x is equal to 4x. 24 is equal to 6x and x is equal to 4, which is anyway the second option. Whichever way you do it, it was not a sum which you would have thought very easily in an exam situation. I would put it as a level C question. Let's have a look at the next question. Again, a pretty straightforward question, ratio, very straightforward. A king has distributed all his rare jewels in 3 boxes. The first box contains 1/3 of the jewels, the second box contains k by 5 of the jewels, and the third box contains 66 jewels. How many rare jewels were the king having? And there's an option of cannot be determined also. Now, if I think of percentages, this is approximately 33.33%. So this has to be less than that. Now, so what are the different values which k can take? When I mean less than, that means it has to be less than 1 and has to be between 66.66 because this is already 1/3. So k can be 1, k can be 2, k can be 3, k cannot even be 4 because at 4 by 5 becomes 80%. 80 plus 33.33 will become more than 100, not possible. So k can take only 3 possible values, 1, 2, 3. 5 and above it will go more than 100, which is not possible. So just let's simply try with all the values. Let's put k as 3. If k was 3, then 1/3 plus 3/5 will become how much? 5 plus 9. 14 by 15 is gone, which means the third box will have only 1 by 15. Can 1 by 15 of the total, if I call the total as t, can 1 by 15 of the total be 66? Yes, t can be 66 into 15, which I think will be 990, which is there in the option, but it's not the only possible option, and because there's cannot be determined. So I'll have to put k as 2 and check. So 1/3 plus 2/5, that will make it 5 plus 6, 11 by 15. In that case, the third box will be 4 by 15. Can 4 by 15 be 66? In that case, t will become a fraction, which is not possible. 66 into 15 upon 4. So therefore, this is out. Third case, we will take k as 3. So 1 by 3 plus 3 by 5. That's 5. Sorry, k as 1 I mean. K3 so I had already tried. So 5 plus 3, 8 by 15. That means the third box will be 7 by 15 of t. If that is 66, again t will be a fraction. Not possible. Only one possible answer, 990, which is the first option. Level A definitely. Let's have a look at the next question. And this was like a couple of questions, 2 questions together on the same data. Let's have a look at it. Aman has come to the market with 100 rupees. If he buys 5 kg cabbage and 4 kgs potatoes, so he's buying cabbage or potatoes, let's call it a CSP only, he would have 20 rupees left with him. So 5 cabbage plus how many potatoes? 4 kgs potatoes. He will spend 80 rupees. So that's the first equation I have. If he buys 4 kg cabbage and 5 kg onions, let's call that as N, he will have 7 left with it, which is 93. Remember, these are 2 different variables. The per kg price of cabbage, onion and potatoes are all positive integers. And any type of these 3 vegetables can be only purchased in positive integers kg or none at all. Okay, so let's first try and figure out what is the price of each one of them possibly, or are there more than one possible values. So cabbage, potatoes and onions. First, let's do for cabbage and potatoes. For this equation, okay, I know cabbage cannot be 0 or whatever. So if cabbage was 2, onions will not come out as a whole number. Cabbage was 1, it will not come out. Cabbage was 3, it will not come out. Right? Cabbage was 4. At cabbage is 4, 20, 60. So P would become 15. So this is one possible value. This is a very, very important concept. I've always told you all should know this concept very well. So I've taken cabbage as 4. So 20, 80 minus 20 is 60, and therefore P is 15. After that, cabbage will keep increasing by 4 and potatoes will keep reducing by 5. So this, when this becomes 8, this will become 10. When this becomes 12, this will become 5. And if I go one more step, it will become 0. So I don't need to do that. So these are the 3 possible cases for the first equation. Let's look at the second equation. Again, I need to reach a 5 or a 0 over here. So if I take cabbage as 2, 8, 93 minus 8 will give me 85. So cabbage and onions. If I take cabbage as 2, 5n would be 85, n would become 17. I'm just going to check that. 85 plus 8, 93. Yes. So now again, cabbage will increase by 5 and onions will go down by 4. So increase by 5, so this will become 7. This will become 13. This will increase by 5, so this will become 12. And decrease by 4, so this will become 9. To go one more step further, even though there was no need, if you increase this by 5, this will become 17, and this will go down by 4, so this will become 5. You can actually go one more step down, 1, and this will become 22. But anyway, the only common solution with cabbage is 12 over here, which means the price of cabbage is 12, the price of potato is 5, and price of onion is 9, which I've already got. Now, Aman decides to buy only onions in whatever maximum quantity possible with the money he has come to the market with. How much money will be left? So which means from 100 rupees, if he decides to buy only onions, he can buy 11 kg onions for 99 rupees, and the money left will be 1 rupee, which is the fifth option. So if you knew the concept of the special equation where you have one equation and how to solve it, then you would have got this question very easily. The first question in this set was not so difficult. The second one slightly difficult. Remember these values, we'll carry forward that over there. So cabbage we know is 12, potatoes is 5, and onions is 9. Just checking that one more time. 12, 5, 9. Right? So all that part is done. Aman decides to buy only onions and potatoes. So he's going to buy onions and potatoes, both in positive integral solutions, in such a way that the money left with him after the purchase will be sufficient to buy a full kg of either of the two vegetables. Okay, no problem. If all such permissible combinations of are equally likely, what is the probability that Aman buys more onions than potatoes? So with 100 rupees, let's start with what he can do. How many kg onions can he buy? How many kg potatoes can he buy? Now, sorry, over here, N. Can he buy only 1 kg onion? No problem. 9 rupees gone. He has 91 rupees. So he will definitely buy more potatoes. 91 divided by 5 will be 18. And there will be some remainder. We are not even worried about remainder. We want to find the cases where there are more onions than potatoes. Now, I can keep going up. If I go to 2 over here, this will be 18. That will be 82. No problem over here. This will still be 82 to divide by 5. I'll be able to buy 16. If I go for 3 over here, that will be 9 to the 27. So 73 divided by 5 will give me 14. And so on, so on, so on. I just need to keep checking that continuously till where can I go. And in what cases will onions become more than potatoes? So with this logic, if I continue, if this was 4, I think this will come 12, but I want to check. 4 9s is 36, 12 5s is 60. Yes, perfect. No problem. So this is going in the same range, 5, and this should become 10. 10 5s are 50, 45. No, I think there's a problem over here. I could buy more. I could buy 11 also. So if I buy 5 over here, this is 45, so I can buy 11 over here. So the same rule did not continue. 6 over here, that is 6 9s are 54. We are left with 46. So you'll be able to buy 9 kgs over here. Okay. Still, potatoes are more than onions. At 7, what will happen? I think this will also become 7. 9 7s are 63. Yes, you'll be left with 2 rupees, which is not a problem. So we've got 7 cases. Now, 8th case, where you can buy onions 8 kg. And you can still buy potatoes, but 72. So 28 rupees left. So you'll be able to buy 5 kgs. At 9 9s are 81. So you can buy 3 kgs. And at 10, you can actually buy 2 kgs, right? 90, yeah, and 2 kgs. So there are totally in all 10 cases. You cannot buy more than 10. Because if you buy more than 10 kg of onion, 11 kg, potatoes will become 0, which is not allowed. They have said both of them are positive integers. So total 10 cases, out of which how many favorable cases? Where onions is more than potato, only 3 of them. Answer is 3 by 10, which is the first option. Difficult question to think of all this in an exam situation. Amount of time required is also slightly high. Let's have a look at the next set of questions. Very simple Venn diagram, very straightforward. 41 applicants have been shortlisted for interviews for some data analyst post. Some of the applications have advanced expertise in one or more fields among the following data analysis, data handling and coding. 3 possible things were there. And in the table, all the data is given. 2 questions have been asked. Let's go directly to the Venn diagram. Nothing really very difficult. So this is my Venn diagram. Okay, 12 were in data analysis, so that comes over here. 5 data handling, 7 data coding. All that looks pretty straightforward. Data analysis, X in all 3, so X will come at the center. 2 in data analysis and data handling. So 2 over here, which means this part will come 2 minus X. 3 data handling and coding, so 3 over here. So this will be 3 minus X. And 6 over here, so this will be 6 minus X. Now, if I start subtracting from each of the totals, that is 12. If I subtract them from 12, 8 minus X, I'll get X plus 4. From 5, if I subtract 5 minus X, I'll get X. And from 7, if I subtract 9 minus X, I'll get X minus 2. So that is the first part. We've got the thing out till here. Let's take this data and go ahead. And obviously, this is the people who do not have any of these expertise. Let's go ahead and read the first question. What best can be concluded about the value of X? Now, if you look at these 2 values, 2 minus X and X minus 2. Now, 2 minus X tells me the maximum value X can take is 2. And X minus 2 tells me the minimum value X can take is 2. x cannot go above 2, because if x went above 2, this part will become negative, and if x went below 2, this part is negative, and nothing can be negative in a Venn diagram, and therefore x has to be 2 and only 2. So what best can be concluded about the value of x? X is 2 only. That is the second option. How many applicants did not have advanced expertise in any of the 3 given fields? That means why? So we just need to add up the whole thing to 41, total of 41. So this circle is full 12, I already know. So 12 plus x plus 3 minus x plus x minus 2 plus y is 41. So plus x and minus x cut. 12 minus 2 is, x is 2, so this will become 0 anyway. 12 plus 3 is 15. 15 plus y is 41, and therefore y becomes 26, which is the third option. So again, a pretty straightforward Venn diagram, 2 questions which you should have got very, very easily. Let's have a look at one set which has of DI, which has 3 questions associated with, and we'll try and understand what it is. Doesn't look very difficult. They've explained in fact, if you read very carefully till here, they have just explained what a upper hinge and a lower hinge is. Okay, they are not doing anything else except explaining. So just if you want, I'll give you an example. If I take some random numbers 2, 3, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19. I've just taken random number. I don't know how many, also 5. Yeah, these are exactly 11 numbers. Now, in this case, the median would be 10, the number exactly at the center. Now, if you take all the numbers to the right of the median, and then if you find the median of that, in this case, which is 15, that will become the upper hinge, and all the numbers which are to the left of the median, and if you take the median of that, that is 8 in this case, that will become the lower hinge. So till here they have just explained that, so you don't need to read that. If you are aware of what a upper hinge and lower hinge was, you don't even need to read it. If you are not aware, just read that, understand it. It cannot take you more than a minute or 2. Now, what has a student done? Has surveyed 13 of her teachers and recorded their work experience in integers. So 2 of them out of which are missing. So out of the 13 scores which the student has taken, 2 are missing. These are the 11 given scores, and the 2 scores are taken as A and B, where A is less than B. And moreover, the student remembers the following summary measures calculated based on the 13 values. So some things have been given over here. In fact, the maximum is wrong over here. The maximum is 29. That's a error over there. The minimum is 2, the lower hinge is 6.5, median is 12, upper hinge is 21, and the maximum is 29. So the minimum 2 kind of gives you one of the numbers directly. Based on the median, the lower hinge and all, we'll find the other second number, or we'll find the possible values of the second number and try and answer the question. So which of the following is the possible value of B? So B might have, A we know is very easy. So B might have more than one value. Which of them is possible out of these options? Based on the information recorded, which of the following can be the average work experience? Again, obviously, once you get the value of possible value of B, you will get the possible value of the averages also. The third question talks about that the student has entered one of the values wrongly. In fact, has entered exactly half of what he or she should have entered. And then after recalculating, the average is becoming 15. What was the value of B? Well, we'll come to all these questions as we go ahead. I don't think so it's at all a difficult set. If you're comfortable with median and all those calculations, this should be pretty straightforward. So A is less than B, I know. So 2 values. And they have told us minimum is 2. Now, since I know minimum is 2, out of all the values which I can see over here, 2 was not there and 2 was the lowest value. So A will definitely become 2. So therefore, these are my first 5 numbers, because there were totally 13 numbers. And the median remains 12, very, very important. The median is 12, or not remains 12, the median is 12. Because the median is 12, and after this there will be definitely, there are 6 numbers. There were totally 13 numbers. So the median there will have to be 6 numbers on the right of the median, 6 numbers on the left of the median, and the median in the middle. That's what I have done. This is my median. These are the 6 numbers which are on the right of the median, which means there have to be 6 numbers to the left of the median. Now, which means the median is somewhere over here. Okay. Now I will use the other things, especially the lower hinge. The upper hinge does not even matter to us. Okay. The lower hinge is 6.5. Now, there are 6 numbers. When there are 6 numbers, just for random, I'm just going to take an example 1, 3, 4, 8, 9, and 11. When there are 6 numbers, how do you calculate median? You take the middle 2 numbers and you take their average. So, 12 and the average is 6, and therefore the median is 6 over here. So, over here when they say the median is 6.5, okay, and there is only one number missing. What is that number? What can be the possible values of the number? So, for example, I have 2, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Now, that missing number itself can be what? Can it be 6? Let's think. Or can it be lower than 6? Because if I take a value lower than 6, the median will never go to 6. Because if there are 6 numbers, the third and the fourth number will form the median. So, this number and one more number will form the median. If the missing number was before this, then 6 becomes the fourth number, then the median can never become 6.5. So, the second the number which is missing will have to be more than 6. So, it can be 7. The missing number also can be 7. So, I can have one more 7 over here and 2 7s are possible, and the lower hinge would be 6.5. So, B can take a value 7. Now, let us think a little bit more. Where else can B be? 2, 5, 6, 7 and 8 was the number. B can be 8 also, no problem. Nothing wrong with over here, the median still remains 8. So, B can be 8 also. Can B be more than 8? No problem, the median still comes here. B can be 9, 10, 11 or 12. B can be any one of these values. So, B can be 9, 10, 11, 12 also, because till 12 wherever I go, after 12 I go, then there is a problem, because then the median would not become 12. If I take B as 13, then the median would change, and hence I can go for B from 7 till 12. These are all the possible values of B. So, B can go from 7 to 12. Very important. If you understood this part, 2 questions were straightforward. So, B can take values from 7 to 12. Let's take that much. Okay. Which of the following is a possible value of B? So, just from the options I have to take 7 to 12, whichever is fitting. Only one value is there, which is 8. Okay. Based on the information recorded, which of the following can be the average work experience of the 13 teachers? Average work experience. Now, if I total up all these numbers, the present total is coming out to be 173. The present total is 173. Now, if I take the minimum value of B, the minimum sum is 180. And if I take the maximum value of B, the maximum sum is 185. Now, there were 13 teachers. Know your tables of 13 well. 13 13s is 169. 13 14s is 182. Right? Which means my answer is definitely more than 13. In fact, it can be slightly more than 14 also. So, go to the options. I have done this part, but you really don't need to do this. 12 cannot be the answer. 12.5 cannot be the answer. 13 cannot be the answer, because the total is definitely more than 169. 13.5 also cannot be the answer, because 13.5 into 13 is how much? 13 5s are 65, 6, 13 3s are 39 plus 6, 39 plus 6 is 45, 4, 13 plus 7, 175.5. Minimum sum is 180. Therefore, the answer can be only 14, which is the fifth option, right? Which is the total can be 182. That is the fifth option. Let's look at the next question. While rechecking our original notes to re-enter the smudge values of A and B in the record, the student found that one of the 11 records work experience values did not get smudged was wrongly recorded. So, which did not get smudged? Remember that one. The one which was not smudged was wrongly entered as half of its correct value. So, suppose if the value was really 14, it was entered at 7, or if it was 58, it has been entered as 29 and whatever. And after that, the average became 15 after correcting the value. Then what is the value of B? Now, we already know this much data, possible values of B. Now, we know this total is 173, right? Now, 173 plus 7, 180. By the way, if the average is 15, the total is 15 into 13, 195. Total is 15 into 13, 195. So, if I need to reach 195, if I take B as 7, that means one of the values will have to come out to be 15. The missing value has to be, that means it has been entered as 15 instead of 30. but there is no 15 only over here. Since there is no 15 over here, 7 cannot be my answer, B cannot be 7, right? Or put 7 over here just to understand. What if B was 8? The total would have been 181. That means I need a 14 more. That means there was a value 28 which has been entered as 14. But if I look in this list, there is no 14 also. So this is also wrong. If I take this as 9, this is 182. That means this value had to be 13. That means there was some value 26 which has been by mistake entered as 13. But again, there is no 13 also over here. If B was 10, then this was 183. That means this value was 12. There is a 12 over here. That means this 12 by mistake, which was 24, has been entered as 12. We'll come to that later, whether this is the only possible answer, because there's also cannot be determined. What if I take B as 11? If B is 11, this total is 184. That means there had to be 11. A lot of people would say yes, but they had said the non-smudged value, which means B was not incorrectly answered because B was not entered only. And if B was 12, 185, then this value was 10. 10 is also not there in the list, and hence that's not the answer. The only possible answer is this one. That is, if B was 10, the wrong value was 12. Instead of 24, it has been entered as 12, and therefore the possible value of B over here is 10, which is the third option. The third question is slightly difficult. The first two questions were easier. Let's have a look at the next set. This is a set on cricket. Now, I've noticed a lot of students who don't enjoy a particular sport. Even when they look at a set of that sport, they kind of have a problem against it. Or same way, vice versa, if they enjoy the sport, they just unnecessarily take up the set even without thinking whether it's difficult or easy. Well, in this case, I thought the set was pretty standard. It was more of a math set than so much about the sport. A T20 cricket match consists of two teams playing 20 overs each, numbered 1 to 20. The run scored in any over is a non-negative integer, obviously. You cannot score negative runs in a match. The run rate at the end of any over is the average run scored. So this is average given over here after n minus 2 overs or whatever. That is the run rate at the end of the kth over will be nothing but the sum divided by number of overs. So all that is pretty standard. The following table gives the run rate of the team at the end of some overs during a T20 cricket match, correct up to 2 decimal places, where n minus 2 has to be obviously greater than or equal to 1 and n plus 6 has to be less than or equal to 20. You cannot go in negative into overs, or you cannot go above 20 also. Where they have told us n is a positive integer. It is known that the team did not score less than 6 runs and more than 15 runs in over. So minimum score per over is 6 and maximum score per over is 15, right? That's been given to us. Based on that, we have 3 questions to answer. One is obviously what is the value of n. Because all the options were integral numbers, there was no cannot be determined. I would have definitely used the options over here to do it. In which of these pairs of over numbers the following team could have scored 22 runs? Possibly 22 runs. Obviously, with that 6 and 15, we'll have to make use of. Which of the following over numbers the team must have scored the least number of runs? Let's try this. So, main was finding n. Once you got n, I thought this set was very, very simple. Now, as I said, I would use options over here. So, the options were 7, 13, 14, 9 and 12. I'm just going to take them over here, 7, 13, 14, 9 and 12 to find the value of n. That is how my first approach is. And also there's a direct trick also which I'll show you. So, in short, if n was 7, let's think and just try and put it over here. Now, this being a whole number, there is no point only. Every time, because 8 is a whole number, whether I take n as 7, that means I'm going to say after 5 overs, the total was 40. After 11 overs, if I take n as 13, after 11 overs, it was 88. So, that's no point. What I have to do, I have to take something else and work on that and see whether I get close to a whole number or not. Because they have said up to 2 decimal places, but runs cannot be in decimal. So, in short, if I take n as 7, what is 7.43 into 7? 7 3 are 21, 2, 28, 33, 49, 52.01, very close to. That means very high chances that n can be 7. But I'm going to check for all the 5 options. So, 7.43 into 13. 13 3s are 39, 3, 52, 52 plus 3, 13, 4, 4 are 52, 52 plus 3 is 55. Now 5 carry, 13 7s are 91, 96.59. Now this is not possible. Why is this not possible? Let's think. Because if n was 13, then over here the team score is 96.6, which is not possible, and hence n as 13 is not possible. Let's try n as 14. I'm just checking one. I can check more also, but right now I'm checking only one. So 7.43 into 14. 14 threes are 42, 4 carry. 56 plus 4, 60. 6 carry. 98 plus 6, 104. Possible, very close to a whole number. So this is also possible. 7.43 into 9. 9 threes are 27, 2 carry. 36 plus 2, 38. 0.87. Again, not really possible. So this is out. 7.43 into 12. 12 threes are 36, 3, 48, 51, 5 carry, 80. Again, 0.16 is too far from a whole number. So this will not be my answer. Now either it can be 7 or 14. Now what I can do is I can check for n plus 2, right? And anyway, logically, for a particular number, if 7 will work, 14 will also work, because if after 7, if I am getting 52.01, after 14 I am going to get double of that. So now only for these two I will check the next one, n plus 2, 8.11. So 8.11 into, if n is 7, n plus 2 will be 9. This will be 9, 9, 72.99, which is very close to a whole number, looks good. What about 8.11 into 16? Because if n is 14, this will be 16. And n 14 can be possible, by the way, n plus 6. So 16 ones are 16, 1 carry. 16 1 are 16 plus 1, 7. Pretty far off. That means this will not work. At this moment also, when I was doing the set, I realized I should have thought of 8.11 earlier. Let me tell you why. Why should I have thought of 8.11 earlier? With 0.11, only 9 or 18 can go from a fractions ka list. 1 by 9 is 11.11. So based on that, with 8.11, n plus 2 can be only 9 or 18, but n plus 2 cannot be 18, otherwise this will become more than 20. And therefore, n plus 2 can be only 9 over here, and that quickly gives me n is 7. Gets me the first question, gets me a lot of other data. This all, if you are done, it's not a big deal, but this is how you could have saved some time if you have thought carefully. Okay, so I'm just going to clear off all this from the screen, and this n can take values from 3 to 14. Based on 8.11, I know n can be only, n plus 2 can be only 9, and therefore n is 7. After that, what I have done is I have just made, after over numbers, what are the runs. So if n is 7, this is 5. So after 5 was 5 8s, the total score was 40. N is 7, so after 7 overs, 7 into 7.43 is 52 point something we had done. So this is a 52. This is 9. So 9 into 8.11 is what? 72.99 we had done. So 73. After 11 overs, 8.45 into 11. You can check over that over here. 8.45 into 11. 55, 5, 4, 88 plus 4, 92.95, which is 93 approximately. And last, same calculation, 105 over here. Now, what will also tell me that if after 5 overs my score was 40 and after 7 overs the score was 52, that means in the 6th and the 7th over, total of 12 runs was scored. A total of 12 runs was scored in the 6th and 7th over. And by the way, minimum score had to be 6, maximum had to be 15. 21 runs were scored in the 8th and 9th over. 20 runs were scored in the 10th and 11th over. And 12 runs were scored in the 12th and 13th over. Let's use all this data to answer the question. First question, though, we had already answered that n is 7, and therefore first question is a straightforward one. Next one. In which of these pairs of over numbers a team could have scored 22 runs in total? So, where can we score 22? Let's see. 12 runs were scored in 6th and 7th. Since minimum was 6, that means both of them had to be 6, 6. So, 6 runs each were scored in 6th and 7th. 21 runs were scored in 8 and 9. That means it can be 6, 15, it can be 7, 14. A lot of options are there. So, I will not do anything over here. 20 runs in 10th and 11th. Again, I will not do anything over there. 12 runs in 12th and 13th. That means 6 runs each in 12th and 13th. Now let's go through the options. In which of these pair of overs 22 runs were scored? 6th and 7th is definitely not my answer because I already know my answer for that. Then 8th and 9th is 21. So 8th and 9th is also not my answer. 10th and 11th also is 20. So that is also not my answer. 10th and 11th cannot be my answer. Now the options are 7 and 8. Now what is the maximum you can score in the 7th over? 7th over, so you are definitely scoring only 6 runs. What is the maximum you can score in 8th over? Maximum in 8th over will be 15. Now 15 plus this 6 will still become only 21. So answer cannot be 7 and 8 also. Let's check 9 and 10. 9 and 10 both I don't have a restriction. So I can score 11 in both of them to make 22, or I can score different scores to reach 22. Hence the answer would be the 4th option. It was a pretty interesting question. Not very difficult but interesting one. Next one. In which of the following over numbers the team must have scored the least number of runs? Now from the options I know 7th over is 6 runs. Right? Very frankly, I am not even thinking about that. About that I am not even thinking. That's my answer. Because 8th over I can score more runs, 9th over I can score more runs, 10th over I can score more runs, 11th also I can score more. 12th and 13th if they were there in the option, then there would have been a problem. But out of these 5 options, 7 is my answer, which is a straightforward answer, and hence the answer is the first option. So according to me, a pretty doable set. You could have definitely done this set in an exam situation also. Let's have a look at the next set. The next set is also a pretty interesting one on discount. 5 different kind of discount coupons are available in the store. So a coupon A is a flat discount of 250 on a minimum purchase of 1200 in one transaction. 15% discount on the minimum spend of rupees 500 in one transaction, up to a maximum discount of 300. This is the way Zomato and Swiggy and all gives you those discounts, right? So similar to that, there were 5 different discounts they had told us about, and based on this we had tried to answer 3 questions. Let's see what the 3 questions were. 4 customers used 4 different discount coupons for their respective transactions in such a way that they obtained a total discount of 710. Which discount coupon was not used? We'll come to that. 4 customers used 4 different discount coupons for their respective transactions in such a way that nobody used any discount coupons suboptimally. That means everybody optimized their discount. They had done the best to get the discount. What was the minimum combined spend? 4 different discount coupons were used by all 4 of them. Here also 4 different discount coupons. A family wanted to purchase 4 products worth rupees 1000 each, and then another product worth rupees 300. They were told that they could, 1, pay for the 5 products through 1 or more transactions any way they wanted. They could use they could make 1000 with 300, 1000 with 1000 or something like that, as long as the purchase amount of any one product would not get split into different transactions. So they could not split the 1000 into 2 parts of 500, 500 or 600, 400. That was not possible. Or use the same discount coupon repeatedly. They were allowed to do that also. They said they could, like in these 2 questions, the discount coupons used were separate. While in this question, I could use the discount coupons repeatedly also. If they offer more than 1 transaction, what was the maximum discount they could obtain for their purchase? Great. Slightly difficult, not very easy. People would have got carried away into this thinking it's a discount set, it's easy, but it's not very easy. So first I'm going to just put what the coupons were offering. A offers me a fixed discount of 250. I can't take less discount, I can't take more discount. On a minimum spend of 1200, which means my approximate discount percentage, which is maximum, is 21%. Because if I buy more than 1200, suppose if I buy 1500 also, I will get a discount of 250 only, and so on. Whether I will use this coupon or not is a different question. But if I use this coupon with a buying of 1500, then my discount percentage will go down. Coupon B gives me a minimum discount of 75 and a maximum discount of 300 on spends of 500 to 2000. Discount percentage is fixed 15. This is fixed discount, 15%. Whether you buy goods worth 500, 1000, 1250, 1300, 1500, up till 2000, whatever you buy, you will get exactly 15% discount. This coupon C is discount of 100 on the minimum spend of 600. That means the maximum discount is 16.66%. But if you buy more, suppose if you buy goods of 1000 rupees and use coupon C, then your discount will be only 10%, and so on. Because the discount is fixed over here. Coupon D, minimum discount is 25, maximum discount is 100 on spends of 250 to 1000, discount is 10%. So here again the discount is standard 10%. And last is minimum discount is 50 rupees on a minimum spend of 200. Discount is 25%, 1 by 4. But if I buy goods worth more and use the same coupon, my discount will remain 50 only, my percentage will go down. So for these three, discount percentage can go down, but the discount in rupees will remain fixed. In these two, discount percentage will remain fixed, right? That's important to understand. Let's go ahead. 4 customers, so I've got the data same what I just put down. 4 customers use 4 different discount coupons for their respective transaction in such a way that the total discount obtained is 710. So what I did was I first found out what was the maximum discount I can get if I get all 5 coupons. I know I'm going to use only 4, but if I was using all 5, the maximum discount I can get is 250, 300, 100, then again 100 and then 50. So the maximum discount I can get is 800. Now, which means I need to get rid of 90 more, right? I definitely need to get rid of 1 coupon. Now, if I get rid of any of these 1 coupons, first 4, what will happen? My value will go below 700 also, and therefore definitely coupon E only I had to get rid of. That was clear. But lot of students would get confused that if I remove coupon E, I am still reaching 750 but not reaching 710. No, the point is for these two, not this one, sorry, for the second and the fourth, that is for second and the fourth, you had varying discounts. Your discount was not fixed. You could take discount. So for example, if you took 250, this 100 fixed, that becomes 350. Let's assume you took this 300 also fixed. So that will become 650. I need to take 60 rupees discount from the 4th coupon. Is that possible? Yes, because based on my spending, if I spend only 600 rupees and take coupon D, I will get 60 rupees discount. Same way I can use coupon B also smartly. So that is what is over here. I'll just clear this out. To achieve a discount of 710, we have to not use coupon E and take a discount of rupees 40 less by spending less for coupon B or D. And that is what will happen. Answer will be hence coupon E, which is definitely not to be taken. Let's have a look at the next question. 4 customers used 4 different discount coupons for their respective transaction in such a way that nobody used their coupons suboptimally. That means everybody optimized their discount. Best way the discount was possible. What was the minimum combined spend? Let's understand what are the minimum spends accordingly. Now these 3 are fixed spends. So 1200, 600 and 200 are fixed spends, while these 2 are variable spends. Here I can spend anywhere from 500 to 2000, and here I can spend anywhere from 250 to 1000. Now I have to combine and I have to look for the minimum combined spend before application of any discount. So I'll go with the minimum option 1550. Let's see, can I create 1550 and get the best possible discount? Now first of all, to spend 1550, if I took this 1200, there was no way I can take this 600. So let's think with 1200 possible cases. This will go out. If I took 200 also over here, then with the minimum also I'll not reach 1550. So 1200 doesn't look to be a possibility for 1550. 600 plus 200 is 800. These 2 I'm taking. And I need 750 more. That means I'll take minimum over here, right? Plus 500 plus 250. Let's see whether the discount is getting optimized over here. So somebody who's spending 600 rupees, for him this discount is best, 16.66%. Because if he goes into the first transaction, see anyway over here discount is only 50 rupees. So that is too less. So somebody who's spending 600 rupees, 50 rupees discount is too less, because the percentage will become only 8.33. So 100 is better over there. If it goes into the first it can't go into the first transaction because the minimum spend over there is 600. So hence this is okay. 600 and this 200 are okay because they are the best discount. So they get the optimum. Now somebody who's spending 500 rupees, gets a 15% discount over there. So over here, which coupons are already used for 800? Let's see. For 800, we have already used coupon C and coupon D. right? All 4 different coupons that have to be used. Now what happens for this 500? For 500 I can use coupon B. No problem, 15% discount I'll get because no other better discount looks for 500. Actually, logically, at 500 I get a discount of only 75. That means I also would want to use, no, I cannot use D because C, because there 600 is a minimum spend. The problem starts with this person. Somebody who's spending 250 wants to use coupon E because with 250 by using coupon D, they'll get only 25 rupees discount. They also want to use D, and hence this person also wants to use D, and therefore this answer is not possible. This was the main thing. 2 people want to use the same coupon and that is not allowed, and hence 2250. Let's see what can we do with 2250. Okay. Now again, if I don't use 1200, what will I get? If I use these 3, I'll get 1800 plus 200, 2000, and then only 250 left, so I can use last one. But again the same problem will happen. This person who is spending 250 also wants to use coupon D, or sorry, also wants to use coupon E. So the problem is going to be with E. E and D both will always be a problem, because if E and D both are used, pay attention to this very carefully, if E and D both are used, and especially E towards a lower value, then what will happen is that E will always want to use, means somebody who's spending 250 rupees will always want to use coupon D, and that is why it's a problem, because wants to use coupon E. If somebody spending 250 wants to use coupon E, because you'll get 50 rupees discount, which is a much higher discount, nearly 20%. So 2250, if I try to form 1800 plus say whatever, I want to reach 2250. So 1800 plus, let's say if I use 250 over here, so that's 2050, plus again I can't use 200 over here, and hence 2250 is also not possible. That way when you keep checking, you realize that actually only when you reach 2500, okay, see the minimum spends, I always put it this way, the minimum spends were what? So I'll just clear out all this. The minimum spends were 1200, 600 and 200, that is for coupon A, C and D. That makes it 2000. The minimum spends over here were 500, that is 2500, and then over here 250. Now the problem is with this 250 person. This 250 person always wants to use the coupon used by this person, and hence he will never be happy, and hence I simply have to remove this person out, the one who is spending 250, and the answer will be 2500. Not at all an easy question, very difficult, because that was the highest option over there. Getting right over there was pretty difficult. Let's go to the last question over here. A family wanted to purchase 4 products worth 1000 each. This was much easier, same thing, the family wants to use 1000 each, but they are allowed to use the same coupon many times, and 300 and 1 product. Now look at the higher discounts. Where are the higher discounts? This is the 21% discount. I want to get that discount on my 1000 rupees somehow. How will I get that? If I take 1000 and 300 combined, that means even if I spend 1300, I get a discount of 250 rupees, which is a pretty high percentage. Even if it is not 20%, it is close to 21%, it is close to 19%, which is a pretty high discount. Remaining all, see, here it is only 50 rupees discount. This is the best percentage. There is no point. Remaining all, I will be able to use this discount 15%. Rupees 1000 to be bought with coupon B, discount of 150, and same process 2 more times. That is 1000 with coupon B, so 300. So the total best discount possible is 700. And luckily that was the highest option. I know there was an option of none of these is correct, but that's a leap of faith I could have taken, and that was my answer over here. So now when it comes to this XAT thing, should I attempt DI more? Should I attempt Quant more? Very frankly, it's your strength. If I was looking at the way I am prepared, XAT Quant is no longer very difficult. I can always attempt questions from XAT Quant. Yes, look for one DI set, like the Venn diagram set over here was very easy. The cricket set was easy. Those 2 sets could have been easily done. The cutoffs are not very high. If you get a score of around 11, 12, you're already reaching 99 percentile, right? cutoffs can be 8 to 9 marks. Target that, make use of your time well, and I think you should do well in XAT, Quant and DI section.